Welcome to this week's Winter Journal Reflection. As we move through the season of wintering, I invite you to slow your pace, soften your breath, and create a quiet, sacred space for yourself. Whether you're listening while the world feels rushed, wrapped in a favorite blanket at home, or stealing a few still moments in the midst of full days, know that this time is an invitation to rest, to listen, and to receive. This week, we'll be exploring darkness and allowing this thought to gently shape our prayers, reflections, and intentions. Winter reminds us that not all growth is visible and that God often does his deepest work in the unseen places of our lives. As you listen and later reflect in your journal, remember this practice is not about striving or fixing. It's about presence, about trusting that even now, even here, God is faithfully at work within you, nurturing what will one day bloom. So settle in, open your heart, and let's begin this week's journey together, honoring the sacred collaboration unfolding between you and your Creator in this quiet and meaningful season. Week 4, Darkness. Winter brings the gift of darkness, long nights that arrive early and linger late, creating a different rhythm for our days and souls. In a culture that often fears darkness and equates it with depression or defeat, winter invites us to reconsider this ancient companion. What if darkness isn't the enemy we've been taught to believe it is? What if it's actually a sacred space of rest, reflection, and deep restoration? Darkness is where seeds germinate, where new life begins its quiet work beneath the surface. It's where our souls can rest from the performance that daylight often demands. In darkness, we're invited to simply be, rather than constantly do. To listen rather than speak. To receive rather than produce. The long nights of winter create natural boundaries around our days, calling us home earlier, encouraging us to light candles and gather close, to slow our pace and deepen our breath. Darkness becomes not something to escape, but something to embrace. A teacher that shows us the beauty of rest, the necessity of reflection, and the profound peace that can only be found when we stop running from what feels uncomfortable. In darkness, we learn that not everything valuable happens in the light. Some of our most important growth occurs in the unseen places, in the quiet hours, in the deep work that can only happen when we're not being watched or evaluated. Darkness, we discover, is not absence. It's presence of a different kind. Observations of seasonal living. The most profound rest often happens in the embrace of darkness. Seeds require darkness to germinate, so do new dreams and deep healing. Darkness teaches us that not all valuable work happens in the light. The peace of night offers a different kind of restoration than the energy of day. Sensory notes, texture, the soft weight of nightfall and the velvet comfort of early darkness. Sound, the hushed world of evening quiet and the wind moving through a winter night. Scent, the crisp smell of cold night air and the warm comfort of candlelight. Feeling, the deep exhale of day's end and the profound peace of being unseen. I'm not sure when it starts, but I know most of us can remember that childhood moment of leaping onto our beds at night, making absolutely sure that whatever was hiding underneath there couldn't grab onto our ankles as we dove to safety. Do you remember that feeling? This fear of what we can't see, it can linger into adulthood in ways we don't always recognize. We avoid the darkness, we fight against it, we try to keep everything lit up and visible because the darkness tells us we're alone, or even worse, that we're lost with no way to find our way back. Yet what I've discovered in the dark has been quite the opposite of what I expected. I found that there is a light that illuminates darkness, not the kind of light that just pushes darkness away, but a light that actually shows up in it. A light that I somehow missed completely in my sunnier seasons, when everything felt bright and visible and under control. It's like I was so busy seeing everything around me that I missed seeing the light himself. And now, as a full-fledged adult woman, I no longer fear the dark the way I used to. Not because I've gotten braver or tougher, but because I know something that I didn't know when I was that little girl jumping onto her bed. God's power and presence fills both the light and the darkness. He's not just there when things are bright and clear. I love how Psalm 139 says it. Is there any place I can go to avoid your spirit, to be out of your sight? If I climb to the sky, you're there. If I go underground, you're there. If I flew on morning's wings to the far western horizon, you'd find me in a minute. You're already there waiting. Then I said to myself, oh, he even sees me in the dark. At night, I'm immersed in the light. It's a fact. Darkness isn't dark to you. Night and day, darkness and light, they're all the same to you. Prompts to prayerfully process. Our relationship with darkness often reflects our relationship with rest, with the unknown, with the parts of our spiritual journey that happen outside of public view. Learning to befriend darkness, both literal and metaphorical, can transform our understanding of growth, healing, and what it means to trust God in all seasons. How do you typically respond to darkness, both literal winter darkness and the darker seasons of your soul? What might God want to teach you in the quiet, unseen spaces of your life? Where do you need permission to rest deeply without feeling guilty about not being productive? Season of now. As evening approaches, take a moment to welcome rather than resist the coming darkness. If possible, dim the lights around you or light a single candle. Sit in this gentler light and feel how your body naturally wants to slow down as darkness comes. Notice how your voice naturally quiets, how your movements become more deliberate, how your mind begins to shift from the day's activities to evening's rest. Place your hand over your heart and breathe slowly. In this darkness, you don't have to perform or produce. You can simply exist. Held by the same God who created both day and night, light and darkness, activity and rest. Whisper this prayer. God, help me trust the darkness you've created for my rest. Teach me to see night not as something to endure, but as a gift to receive. In the quiet darkness, help me find the peace my soul needs. Natural observation. Notice how creation embraces darkness without fear. Trees don't panic when night falls, they simply settle into rest. Animals don't resist the shorter days, they adjust their rhythms to match the season's invitation. The earth doesn't fight winter's longer nights. It receives them as necessary for the deep restoration that will fuel spring's eventual return. Seeds buried in dark soil don't strain toward light. They trust the darkness to do its transformative work. Stars don't shine in daylight. They wait for darkness to reveal their beauty. Even the moon's gentle glow is only visible against night's dark canvas. What season surrounds you in this moment? Describe what you see outside your window, what you feel on your skin, and what you hear in the air. If darkness could speak to your soul, what wisdom would it offer about rest and restoration? What work might God want to do in the quiet, unseen places of your heart? How might learning to embrace darkness change your relationship with rest and reflection? Sacred awareness, sacred pauses. Where did you find unexpected peace and darkness this week? What quiet work do you sense happening in the unseen places of your life? How did God meet you in moments of darkness or uncertainty this week? What gifts of rest or reflection emerged from embracing rather than fighting the dark? Spirit's movement. What is your soul learning about trust in the seasons when you can't see clearly ahead? How is God using darkness to teach you about different kinds of growth and healing? Sacred spaces. Where do you feel most at peace with darkness and the unknown? What space helps you embrace rest without guilt about not being productive? 90 Days of Intention, Week 4. Growth. How did I choose to embrace rather than resist darkness this week? Reflection. What is God teaching me about rest and restoration in the quiet, unseen spaces? Celebration. How will I honor the gifts that can only be found in darkness and deep rest? The God that designed and formed you knows you better than you know yourself. Your Creator planted the seeds of His image uniquely in you and desires to co-labor with you in revealing the beauty of His goodness and mercy in the world. He desires to walk with you through every season and is faithful to complete what He started in you.